and welcome back to my channel. So, as you can hear, it's gonna be different from now on. It's been a while, so I thought, why not open my audience up to more people and then speak in English? So that's what we're gonna do from now on, and welcome to any new ones. And today we are gonna talk about what to read after you have read this amazing book. As you probably saw when you clicked on the video, yeah, Call Me By Your Name is a classic, I would say. It's really good. It changed my life, if you can say that. It seems so cheesy to say that. It gave me some perspective on sexuality and like identity as a whole, and made me question some things, and I think that's really healthy, and it's just so well written. This book made me feel like empty afterwards, so now I will give you 5 new books to read after this. I hope you will enjoy this video, and yeah, let's get into it. Sorry, I forgot my notes to this video. So the first book I read after reading Call Me By Your Name that really like hit the same feelings while reading it was Sally Rooney's Normal People. I actually saw about 8 of the episodes of the TV series before starting reading it, and I don't think that like made it worse, but if you haven't seen the TV series, you should definitely read the book before. But the TV series is so good, so yeah, see that afterwards, definitely. It's about 2 people, Connell and Marianne, that meet in high school. And Connell he's like a popular kid. He plays some sort of sport. It's not football, but it takes place in Ireland, so I think it's like an Irish sport. And has like a group of friends, and is really concerned about what these friends will say about him if he like gets caught talking to Marianne, because Marianne is this weird kid. She is so much herself. She's so true to herself, doesn't want to like compromise that to fit in to the class, and I think that's really powerful. And yeah, Connell and Marianne like have this like secret affair. They end high school and get to college, and here like the roles changes. So Marianne becomes the one making a lot of friends and being the happy one, and Connell ends up being like the more reserved one and has a really hard time like fitting into this new environment. But they have this on and off relationship and friendship, and the characters are so raw and so real. You can really identify with both of them and how their relationship works, because there's so many things that's not said and so many things that's not done, and that's just how life works in general. And I think that's really nice to have like a more real portrayal of relationship and love and friendship, and just yeah, life as a whole. But really recommended. It's like the one I recommend the most out of the 5, I would say. So if you have to read one of them, please read Normal People if you haven't. So yes. The next one is called A Little Life. It's just so good. I have like heard it as an audiobook on Mofibo. I don't know if it's on Mofibo in other countries, but it's in English on the Danish Mofibo. The one reading it is Oliver Wyman, and he's so good because you can hear which character who says what. But A Little Life, it's a really tough book to get through. It's like 33 hours listening to it, but it's about 4 boys who meet in college, and yeah, they became roommates, and after that they are inseparable as a group. You get to hear about them from like they're little to in their mid-50s or something like that. So you really have like a good period of time to get to know them and find out why they are as characters and see them evolve. The 4 characters, there's one named Willem, who's an actor and is like the handsome one, but he doesn't see himself like that. He's very grounded in that way. And there's JB, who's an artist or like a painter, and there's Malcolm, who is an architect, but throughout the book he struggles in terms of finding out his sexuality and identity and has like an inner crisis with that. And then there's Jude, who is the withdrawn, like mysterious one. We learn that he has a lot of baggage, and that's the reason why he's so withdrawn. And yeah, there's just a lot of plot twists throughout the book, the 600 pages or so, and that's really, really nice, but it also gets you like, damn, could it get worse? Before reading it, you should really be in the right mental place, I think, because yeah, if you're in a bad state mentally, and I think a lot of us are right now during lockdown, you should postpone it. Postpone? Do you see that? Do you say that? I would really, really recommend it. It's so good. And it's so different from what's popular in general. I think it's so nice that they go from childhood to their mid-50s, so you really get like the crisis in lives like described. So yeah, read that. Then we have Swimming in the Dark, which I also heard as an audiobook on Mofibo. And Swimming in the Dark is by Tomasz Jedrowski. Yeah, he's Polish, but it's a short one. It's 6.5 hours, so it's easy to get through, and there's not that much like pain as there is in A Little Life. So it's more refreshing. You don't like end up sobbing when you turn this last page, so that's good. And what really drew me to hear this book was start of like the text about the book. It states, imagine Call Me By Your Name set in communist Poland, and that just describe the book spot on. It really is Call Me By Your Name set in communist Poland. It's set in early 1980s, like Call Me By Your Name. It's about Ludwig, who is a university student and also the first person narrator. And he meets Janus at summer camp, which is like a camp every university student has to go through at the end of their education, where they have to learn how to work in the fields. So they also know that form of job is just as important as them learning something more spacey at university. Yeah, it's a communist country, so it makes a lot of sense. These two, Ludwig and Janus, ends up having a secret affair, but at the end of this camp, it gets hard to like go on with it. Ludwig has Giovanni's room brought with him to camp, but in another book, so like to hide it, and he like bought it illegally because it's a gay romance, and you really can't like sell that in the communist Poland in the early 80s. It ends up being his way to like connect with Janus. Giovanni's room and what it's about is quoted throughout the book, so if you hadn't read Giovanni's room before it, I would really recommend that, because it gives like a better perspective of what they're going through. The best thing about this book is that it's written in the past tense. Is like the first person narrator Ludwig is writing about his experience with Janus and the camp and his childhood and why things ended up the way they did. It's a quick read, and I think that's really good. A big recommendation. Okay, I have one last audiobook, and it's called Lie With Me by Philippe Besson. He's French, and it's an even shorter read. It's 3 hours and 35 minutes. Yeah. In the text about the book, there is like a quote from André Aciman, the author of Call Me By Your Name, which states, stunning and heart-gripping, which like really sums it up good, how you feel after reading it. It's really short, and that's like refreshing, I think, because Call Me By Your Name and Normal People, not that they are that long, but you really get invested in the characters. In this book you don't get as invested, and I think that's like in a relief. If you read a lot of books like after each other that really get you in the feels, you really get emotionally drained. And this is not as draining. It's a gay romance. It's set in France in 1984, and it's about two teenage boys having a secret affair in the end of high school. The first person narrator is named Philippe, and he also writes in the past tense about this secret love affair with a boy named Tomasz. And I think that like view on it, like when you're thinking back, oh, this happened, it gives you like another perspective of what is happening. And that's the same like way the book Call Me By Your Name is. He looks back at what happened and talks about how he felt, but we are not like completely sure that that was how he felt in the moment. The thing I loved most about Lie With Me was how the narrator described Tomasz before meeting him. He like had a crush on him, but nobody knew. They end the affair after high school, and then Philippe meets someone later in the book that like changes the whole thing, and nothing changes. Yeah, it's a really good plot twist. To the last book, Giovanni's Room. Yeah, you didn't see that coming, but please read this before you read Swimming in the Dark. I did that, and I was quite lucky I did that because I understood the references that's made in Swimming in the Dark. Giovanni's Room is, I would say, classic. Like Call Me By Your Name, but it's from another time. All the other books I've mentioned is written after the 2000s, but this is from 1956. So it's pretty old. It's by James Baldwin, who is he's dead now, unfortunately. He was a gay black man from America who like traveled to Europe and stuff like that. This one is set in Paris in like the 1950s, and it's about David, who is the first person narrator. He's American but travels to Paris with his girlfriend. He asks her to marry him, and then she travels to Spain because she has to think about it and think it through. But in Paris he meets Giovanni at a gay bar, and Giovanni is like the bartender at the bar, but he's a new one, and he's from Italy, so he's not that good in English. And yeah, there's a lot of like French and Italian phrases used in the book, and I think that's really helps set the mood, and it feels more authentic when the phrases in French and Italian is used. They meet in this gay bar where Giovanni is the bartender, and from there have an affair because the girlfriend of David doesn't know about it. And yeah, they practically live in Giovanni's room, which is a little room with a little window. David's girlfriend returns and wants to marry him, and that changes the whole thing. And yeah, you should read the rest. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, I think it's really good that it's written at the same time as the story takes place. Like it's written in the 50s and takes place in the 50s. Unlike the other ones, it gives you like another perspective of gay romance because it's set in the 50s, and you can hear on the language that it's a while back that it's written, but it doesn't take anything away from it. I would say it adds more to it, and like the French and Italian phrases is just like magic. It's the cherry on top. That was it. A little bonus I would add is, if you have read Call Me By Your Name, you should definitely read Find Me, which is the sequel. It includes both Elio's dad, Oliver, and Elio, and it's like in 3 or 4 parts, like Call Me By Your Name. You really shouldn't like read it as a sequel. You should read it as a separate book. Then you will appreciate it the most. I read it like a half a year after I read Call Me By Your Name, and I'm really glad that I did that. You want Call Me By Your Name to end good, and it ends good, but it's just not the same. It's really, really well written. He's such a good author, and yeah, like all my other books, I have like highlighted the good parts because the way he uses words is just magic. I hope this video was some sort of help, that you haven't like read the books or that some of them is still new to you. Yeah, I really hope it was some sort of help and that you enjoyed the video. So like this video if you enjoyed it and that you want like more book stuff, because we can arrange that. And yeah, subscribe to my channel to see more English spoken videos in the future. The gap year is coming. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see each other in my next video.